welcome to At the Kitchen Table.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm so excited to be here.
All right. So this is Amy Somerville, my longtime friend. She is currently
On sabbatical.
on a sabbatical. A sabbatical, we call it in my house.
Ooh, I like that.
The sabbatical.
Yeah.
Amy Somerville worked a long time with Corporate Remax, which is where I met you.
Yes.
And I'll let you tell us more about the journey you've had since. But back up. How did you get here? Tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, who are you and how did you arrive at this place?
We're asking, like, I'm going to not date myself, but I'm going to say, I would say that I'm primarily from the Southwest,
Okay.
New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado. I got to see sunshine every day. I feel like it feeds my soul. So Southwest, born and raised.
Does the sun shine in New Mexico like it does up here?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes, whatever the amount is, like 360 days of sunshine or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So yes, lots and lots of sunshine. I would say that my career has primarily been focused in personal growth and development that touched the real estate space and industry the majority of my career.
Yeah.
And so Remax.
It's one of the things you're, in fact, the best at.
Oh, thank you so much. No, I'm just so excited to be hanging out with you again. We took a little sabbatical. We took a little break, so it's really nice.
Accident, but
yeah, no, totally nice.
We went to coffee. Do you remember we went to that coffee in
It was like, were we in Denver? Yeah.
And you were trying to figure out where you were going to go, and you did land with Buffini there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you grow up in the Middle West.
Yes. Isn't that funny? I do find that hysterical when you ask people. So being from New Mexico, Arizona, in my head, Four Corners is Southwest.
Okay.
But a lot of people who are born and raised in Colorado refer to themselves as Midwest or parts of Midwest, which is shocking to me.
We could name this and get it to trend because it's not the West. The West is like California and Washington and
no, I go Southwestish. No,
but Southwest to me sort of feels like Texas.
Oh, see, I definitely think that's West or that's South.
That's the South, but the South to me feels like Alabama.
Southeast.
All right, we're gonna figure it out.
I like this game. Keep going. Yeah.
Okay, so how'd you end up in Denver?
So my husband and I, Lance Somerville and I, were actually residential agents for Remax in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And he was almost born, but definitely raised here in Colorado. And every time we came back for a visit, we would drive home or fly home kind of sad. We just miss being here. He certainly was hoping that we would get back to Colorado. And so at one point, I think it was a Halloween, we came up here to visit some friends. The drive back was kind of somber. And we were like, why do we live like that? Like, why wouldn't we want to be and put ourselves in a space where we are happy all the time? And if this is where we want to get pre-kids, like, let's just do it. And so we went back and started marketing our business for referral, rented our property there, and then started reaching out to people that we knew in Colorado. And it just so happened that one of Lance's high school, well, actually, I'm going to say elementary school, middle school, and high school friends, I call her she was the mother of Lead Street. And so she reached out and said, gosh, we would love to have people with a real estate background and experience to come in and work as employees. I know that's not your thing, but that gets you here and then you can, launch your own business. We actually thought we were going to buy a Remax brokerage here in, we'll say the Parker area, and got in. And just so you know, the date approximately.
I was going to just say, when was this?
2007, January of 2007. So
the best decision you ever made was not buying the franchise.
It was not even, the market was closed. They were not even, it was just like the territory here was maxed out. That was not an option for us. So it was, okay, could we shake off our egos a little bit and become employees and do that for a little while. And then when the time was better, in the economy, in the country, in the world, actually, jump into being entrepreneurs again. And that's exactly what we did.
Okay.
Although my stay was like 18 years.
So you, I was going to say you had a long stay. So you go work for headquarters.
Yes.
With the Lead Street lady.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And so tell me about your time there and maybe certainly, your inevitable departure, but the work I would say the bulk of your career was born there, right? You were raised at RE/MAX, right?
Yes. Yeah. No, started out consulting franchise owners on the East Coast, Northeast and Southeast.
Okay.
We'll play that game. But Washington, D.C., Virginia, West Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. So I built my foundational relationships with franchise owners in those states.
Right.
And then moved from that area of the country to, well, the real story is a story about burnout, a story about, I was traveling probably twice a month. My husband was in franchise sales. He was traveling 3 times a month. So we were crossing ships and barely seeing each other. And lo and behold, we got pregnant.
Yeah. Oh,
And-
funny thing with
right.
ship in the night like
Right?
that.
Like, how does that
He
all
just
work?
breathed on my neck and it happened.
That's
No.
right. I'm not even sure how that happened. We were definitely married for many years, but kind of surprised because of all the travel and how are we going to make it work.
Yeah.
I moved my mother into my basement and she was practically, raising our child.
Yeah.
But there was a point with a burnout and frustration and almost feeling like, so my husband and I met my second day of college at Colorado State University. So we have been together, we're talking quite a few years now.
Yeah. You were kittens.
Yes. I was 17 and he was 19. And what we know about our relationship is we do better when we're together. When we
That's
have
sweet.
a similar conversation, when we have an industry that we can bounce, just a point of reference
Yes.
and similarity when we are doing our own things, when that distance is created and when we don't see like eye to eye, or I actually remember specifically getting from him a, you don't know me kind of feel, right? I made your favorite dinner. Oh, I don't like that anymore.
Oh.
I planned this or I scheduled this. Oh, I'm really not into that anymore.
Or
It's like,
I'm
whoa.
pulling to this conference and you're pulling to that conference because we
Absolutely.
were rowing in different boats.
Absolutely.
I could totally see that.
So, and there were points in our career in our lives where he made a change for the Team Somerville.
Yeah.
And I knew it was my turn. And so I said, you know what, I will take one for the team and I'll start looking for something else, another opportunity that puts me home more often and so that the connection's there.
Yeah.
And I had been approached for quite some time before that to move from business consulting and regional development over to training and education and the personal growth kind of space. And I was the type of person who couldn't even say my name in my favorite book in a get to know each other kind of circle. I remember actually
passing out on stage.
Oh my gosh. Like, my name is Amy Somerville. What was the most, what's your favorite movie? Have I ever seen a movie? I've never seen a movie in my life. And, full flushed, panicking, and people like, you can't even just say like your favorite movie. No. So the idea of being on a stage and presenting to people, I could do consulting one-on-one.
Sure.
That was my comfort zone, but one-to-many was not it. And so I kept turning it down. I'm not the person you want. Well, when your marriage and your family is pushing at you to make a change, all of a sudden the options become a little more clear. Like, what could you do? How could you get excited about this? How could this, inspire you to do more? And so I took the position.
Yeah.
And
What was that
funny
title
enough,
called at that time?
oh gosh, it was manager of, I think maybe manager director of education. And it's funny because I said, I'll take one for the team. And it ends up being the thing that I think brought me to what it is that I love to do most, brought me to a comfort zone that I never thought possible. And the idea of being able to impact and improve one to many is completely fulfilling.
So this is how I came to really know you is, Amy on the stage,
Right.
Leading roundtables, moderating those sessions, the best ever. I mean,
It's because you were there.
I was certainly willing to pick up the microphone and share, but
It's
I mean,
my favorite thing.
that synergy when you're running a roundtable and somebody is willing to share is in fact what makes those rooms go round. That's what brings value to those crowds, right? But I mean, you were very good about planning those things and bringing your planning team along and making sure that the curriculum for which we were going to learn about was good. And then, boy, the years in which you were doing that there were the company's best years.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I am super passionate about masterminds.
Yeah.
I think first and foremost, relationship. And right on the back of that is leveraging the knowledge of the people around you.
Oh, for sure.
And, you know, when you have people who are willing, like you are, to share, to challenge, to ask the hard questions, and keep the dialogue and the conversations going. But like it brings thought-provoking, inspirational, you know, ideas. People move, people grow, people build together, and they build, you know, separately, but good mastermind.
Yeah, I love it too. And you know, it's funny, having come to Real Broker now where we're at, one of the things I kept saying was that I wanted to cure loneliness in the business.
Yes, I love that.
And it doesn't matter in what silo you're in, but it's lonely everywhere. So at headquarters, on the learning and development team, the person who was running that team felt lonely there. To be a commercial broker, maybe with other commercial agents, but to be, you know, up at the top of that feels lonely there. To be a team leader, to be a franchise owner, to be a managing broker, to be a transaction coordinator. I don't care. You pick your job in real estate. And somehow there's this loneliness in real estate. It's everywhere. The masterminding, the attending conferences, the in-person meetings, the being able to hop on a Zoom, the collaboration, the cross-pollinated tree that you and I have come to sort of be at our best in, I think is the solution to solving loneliness in real estate.
Agreed, and love that.
Yeah.
It's funny how expectations, putting people in boxes. You know, this is what you're supposed to do. You're a lone wolf. Go do your thing.
Yeah.
Real estate industry is not collaborative. It is not relational. Agents are pit against each other. They're competing with each other. That's just not the reality. And we can do so much bigger together.
Or maybe it was the reality, and I think that's changing. You know,
That's a great point. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, and this is a little controversial, but I'll say it, is that it felt like the agent community was sort of against each other for a long time. KW, like, over my dead body would I ever be a KW agent, or I would never go to, you know, EXP or you know, just this kind of stuff, right? FEMAX, people always like made fun of the company, each other's companies, right? And meanwhile, the consumer was kind of coming into the tent. They were quietly coming into the tent with Zillow, with Homes.com, with what was inevitably the sale of Realtor.com, which that URL is not owned by the real estate the brand, the real estate companies. It's an independent company. The consumer started to have this access to our industry, and it was quiet at first. You know, when Zillow first came in, they said, well, we're just a marketing company. We want to help you put your listings on the World Wide Web, and we'll put your name next to the picture of your listing. And that way, if somebody has questions about it, they'll call you. And then pretty soon there were 3 names next to your listing on Zillow, and they could call any of those people for information, except 2 of them had no idea.
I remember that.
What information was there. And then pretty soon the listing agent's name wasn't next to the listing at all. The person who knew the most about that house was no longer accessible to the public to get information about the house. You got a junior agent who was working leads from the internet for the public. And that's really the fallacy about clicking through Zillow or Homes.com or Realtor.com or Redfin, is that when you click that button, you're getting a junior agent. So then at some point, the consumers had a lot of information. And the real estate agent was actually the keepers of the data. They had the information. And it made the consumer very powerful, which was good in many ways. Let's face facts, like a more knowledgeable consumer was better for the real estate agent community. But for a long time, the agents were sort of fighting amongst each other, and the consumers felt very outside. And then they all sort of started to feel like they had the same information, and it empowered them together. And then the Spitzer lawsuit, which is, look it up if you don't know what it is. We don't have time for that today. But basically the lawsuit sort of broke the legs of the industry and said, you know, if the consumers want information, they should be able to get it. And if the agents are making too much money, the consumers should have more access to negotiate, and so forth. But the point is that there isn't a fight of the agents and the consumers, or the agents and the agents. And of course, consumers aren't really fighting with each other about it. But the point is that I do think that the agents are going to have to become more united. The long way around the barn is the agent community is going to have to continue to be more united, because we have let the cat out of the bag in our industry, or let the horse out of the barn to sort of open run. And I'll tell you the example I hear of this is I go to people's kitchen tables and they say, well, if I can't get the information from you, I'll just look it up on Zillow. Well, I'm not trying to keep any information from the consumers. It's not just access to the information. It's how to analyze the information. It's discerning the information. It's knowing what the information says. It's having access to the industry and vendors inside and just all the things that come with sort of the agent knowledge. The consumers would have to teach themselves something new to know the thing that I know. That's fine. Some of them want to do that. Some don't. These two camps are operating differently than they used to. And I think that's going to be, I'm being a little diplomatic here because I haven't really kind of worked this out in my mind for sort of the agent community and for the public, but I'm just telling you, I think things are changing in real estate.
No, I think you're absolutely right. And I think it was beautifully put. I don't think that you were, driving around the point. I think it makes a lot of sense to say that for the longest time, you did see, and I mean, I can say in the last 10 years, you could see agents fighting against other agents of different brands. And the number of times I've made the comment, do you know that the consumer doesn't have a clue the difference between, like that is such a personal, like what toothpaste you use and, what milk you buy. Nobody cares.
I'm not sure the agent community could articulate the difference between the brands.
Right. Well, but it was I have to stand my ground. I have to express my loyalty to my brand. Sure. And it became the forefront of the focus versus the service, versus the support of the consumer, versus the actual role and the impact that agents have on the marketplace. It took the wrong focus for a while.
What do you think the activities of the real estate agent are going to be moving forward? What do you think agents are going to have to do to continue to be successful in real estate? Where do you think the North Star is in this business?
I think collaboration is going to be a major piece of that.
Okay.
Relationship. And instead of the I'm competing against or I'm negotiating against, it's I'm negotiating with, I'm competing with. I think that's going to be a major part of it is those that don't have the relationships, don't have the background, don't have the history, don't have the years and years of experience are going to be edged out of the business. There is so much access to flat data for the consumer. That's not what the agent is going to be known for anymore, right? They no longer hold the key to that. And, if you want to have access to this information, you have to go through me first. To your point, they have all the access. They were invited to the party. They know just enough to be in trouble.
That's right.
And so the agent is a problem solver. The agent is the expert. The agent is the relationship broker. The agent is the negotiation broker. But it's not from a place of competition, and it's not from a place of win versus lose. It's win or win bigger.
Yeah, it's so interesting. My whole career, which is now 23 years, I've been saying, you don't need me to find you a house.
Right.
You can find a house. Find the house is one activity of dozens. So, yeah, you can find a house. It's you need me to cut through what is now a more bureaucratic, more legislated, more paperwork intensive, more complex, more infrequent, more expensive transaction than you've ever dealt with in your life.
Absolutely.
And you say that and people are like, I should get some help.
Yeah. Just the compliance piece alone.
I should just get some help.
It's a mind blower to think, yes, you have access. I have access to all kinds of things via ChatGPT. I have access to medical information. I have access to legal documentation. I could learn how to, create a business in financial management if I wanted to. These are compliance-led industries that require a knowledge, a license, a practice, an understanding, and I don't think that that's ever going to go away.
I want to tip back into your learning and development stuff because I find that super interesting. And you ended up going... So your time sunsets at RE/MAX.
Yes.
And you go to another favorite person of mine, which is Brian Buffini.
Yes.
And you went to work for Buffini and Company. Tell me about your time there and then what came next.
Yeah. So because I was on and I'll back up because I think it is somewhat related to the agent experience and the box that we put ourselves in and the expectations. When I moved from consulting and regional support of RE/MAX to education, not only was it a big change and hard hit for me, but it was a little bit of a demotion. And the expectation and the belief in the building was, look, nobody's ever gone higher than a management level position. You just stepped out of a role that you had a high level of trajectory. Everybody saw you moving, up, through the ranks over on this side of the company. This is a dead end job. Like, you're going to move over, be a manager, and that's where you're going to sit. And that was hard for me as a driver personality. Yes, a striver. But again, taking it for the team, for the family.
I'll insert this little thing here. I call this the look away.
Yes.
This was the years when your babies are little and you're in a phase of your personal development where sometimes you need people to just look away.
Yes.
So that's what I call it, the look away.
Yes, that's
which
great.
Which is like, I needed to be home because I was either nursing a baby or I couldn't keep traveling because they were little and they had early bedtimes, or like, there's a time in life, everything, there is a season of life.
Yes.
And you were in the season of the look away.
Yes.
And so the gift you were given is that you had a look away time where you were like, don't look at me walking into the office 30 minutes late because I was pumping in the car. Or don't look at me when I have to leave at 4:30 because the daycare said if the baby throws up one more time, they're gonna lose their mind.
Right.
So like, there's a look away at a time in women's lives where like, you're the one called to go like pick up the strings. And so this probably happened at a look away time for you. Yeah.
It is. It's really funny. I like the term for sure, the look away, because what was uncomfortable for me back then was being someone's wife and being someone's mother. It was so much more natural to me to go into a career opportunity and, give it my all and drive innovation and get excited and raise people up. And when I realized that I was accidentally sidelining the things that were supposed to be most important to me, then it was, oh man, this is an ego check. This is a gut check.
Oh, for sure.
I'm now taking basically a demotion. This is where I'm going to stay, but at least I am being, looking back over, right? I was in the look away. Then I was in the, I need to look back over here. I mean, we can get to a point where you could edit this portion out, but the number, I mean, I went back to work within 9 weeks after my first baby, and my second one, I absolutely lost milk because I sat in a board meeting and didn't want to have to explain, or an executive meeting, I didn't want to have to explain that I needed to leave to pump. Like I was making decisions that were probably not driven by the right part of myself. I was still very much in the drive and the id and the growth and I don't know how to explain it. But I can say that in my time there, I can proudly say the first senior vice president of the education division. It became a very important value proposition for RE/MAX.
I think you kind of made this too, by the way. So like, let the record show that I think because of Amy Somerville, the RE/MAX University, that product, that tool was in its infancy when you joined. And by the time you left, it was huge. Your team, maybe some of the people above you and maybe some of the people below you, but in that team of people, the amount of transfer of knowledge you brought to that part of the back end of the industry, the university part of the industry, was huge. And I actually almost single-handedly give you credit for making an attempt at building the team structure inside the RE/MAX network.
Thank you.
Almost single-handedly. I don't know who else to give credit to for that, so I'll give it to you today because you're sitting in my cute chair.
I'll take it right here. Yeah.
But honestly, looking back, it was because of you that you had Rich Robbins. I mean, do you remember standing in the crowds and he would do the cheer? I mean, the team environment that you created at that brokerage was excellent.
Thank you.
And so my point is, and I'm gonna come back to this, which is you had brought Rich Robbins along with Verl Workman at Workman Success and the Buffini Company. Yeah. I mean, I think you single-handedly made those companies successful.
Oh,
because
that's
you
now
had
giving too much credit.
No,
but.
You had the power of the RE/MAX agents, and when Liniger spoke, they listened.
Yes.
So when he said, you need a coach, call these guys, and you had brought us 3 capable, different coaching organizations to glom onto, like, those organizations' success was born out of the relationship with the large brokerage. that goes for Keller Williams, that goes for EXP, that goes for, any of the big players back in that day, RE/MAX for sure. But I think you changed the way that real estate teams started putting themselves together. And it took me a really long time to see teams differently.
Yeah.
What do you think the future of a real estate team looks like? I mean, do you think will people live in the lonely silo, or will they get on teams?
I think teams are the future.
Do you know what? Actually, okay, I just thought of this. I had a young broker who is hustling this business. He's great. His name's Alex Miller. He's a dream maker. He just joined yesterday.
Congrats.
Thanks. He said something to me that I hadn't considered before. He said, I'm entrepreneurial. I'm a realtor. I'm entrepreneurial. But I'm an intrapreneur. Mm-hmm. And he said, I know I'm not going to be the kind of person to hire full-time staff, or to sign a 5-year lease on a copy machine, or to put a lease on an office building, or to buy an office building. I like the entrepreneurial spirit of the business, and I'm an entrepreneur at heart, but I'm an intrapreneur. And I guess it hadn't occurred to me that people think they're entrepreneurial and they come on a team and then they break off from the team thinking that they're going to do what the team leader did. But you got to be a special kind of crazy to want to sign 5-year leases on copy machines and build a business.
You bet, yeah.
And so the truth of the matter is like, if agents can actually just acknowledge, I might be an intrapreneur, and the best place for me might actually be under somebody entrepreneurial enough guts enough to go build something. That may be the best place for real entrepreneurs, intrapreneurs to be, is under somebody like me or other team leaders who like to drive hard and sign 5-year leases, and then everybody else can just go sell houses.
I am a huge believer in recognize your strengths, but also recognize your weaknesses. Mm-hmm. Recognize who around you can help build up those weaknesses. Yep. And, again, not to a point of even a positive strength, but why would you not leverage the people around you? You get this one opportunity in life that we know of to make the most out of yourself, mm-hmm. to leverage the strengths that are God-given to you, yep. to work with people and be impacted and inspired by the strengths of the people around you. Why would you not do that if given the opportunity? And I will say, even outside of real estate or entrepreneur, solopreneur, however you want to phrase it, as an executive, that's my favorite part about building teams, and being a team leader, is that it is helping people recognize strengths that they may not even realize that they have, for one, helping them elevate those strengths. Not, okay, how are you going to pick up your weaknesses? Why would you waste your time? If this is your God-given strength, expand on that, double down on that, and leverage the strengths of the people around you. And then you're powerhouse.
Chris Williamson, who's this mega British podcaster.
Yes.
He was doing an interview the other day I was listening to, and he said, if somebody was watching your movie, what would they be yelling at the screen? That, you're good at doing this.
Right.
What would they be yelling at your screen? That you should be doing that thing. If the people around you see you doing something that's excellent, you're good at it, it's a strength. You should go do more of that and less of the things that are chore, less of the things that you're not that good at.
Well, I'll tell you, one of my favorite, we'll call it a focal point. But if you talk to anybody who's ever worked with me, for me, they would probably roll their eyes when they hear the term co-creation, because it is.
I didn't roll my eyes because I don't know what that means.
Over and I just want okay, so what's the plan for this? I don't know. Let's co-create it. Mm. Well, what's your vision for this? I don't know. Let's co-create it.
I see.
And it's not that you as a driver personality aren't going to come to the table with your thoughts and your ideas and your questions and your, aha moments. That's not what it's all about. It is coming to the table and recognizing the strengths of the people around you and being able to ideate together and be able to build something bigger than you could have built by yourself with a team.
Yeah. I love that stuff. I could dig on this for hours. I could just go on personality types, on work strengths, so what's
Big
next
believer.
for you? Where do you land? Do you want to talk about your time at Success Magazine and what you learned there and some of the benefits of that? And then what's next for you?
Sure. So I hate to skip Buffini and Company because they're incredible it's an incredible company, and Brian Buffini in general, it has been a wonderful mentor. I'm going to say my entire career,
Yes.
even before coming and working at RE/MAX headquarters. But I decided that I had, probably done as much as I could do on the RE/MAX headquarters side. And, during COVID times, I thought, I'm just going to go back and become an entrepreneur. I promised myself I'd be bouncing back. And then it was like 18 years later that I said, you know what? Yeah, we're going to go back to this.
Yes, but God laid that at your feet.
And seasons. I think that is something that Brian says all the time. And I love that language because you can really visualize it. The season was a time back and focus on myself, my personal health, my family, my kids and their phase of development. And it was the perfect time to do that.
Yep.
So I decided to jump out into doing my own thing. Moment of Clarity is the name of the company. And Brian called right away, and Burl called right away. And, all of the,
Of course
all
they
the
did, because you were the huntress that built that team.
And they're just, all of them are incredible human beings. And I believe in who they are and what they are trying to do for the industry and for the people that I love the most. Yep. And I was offered jobs, and I kept telling everybody, I am telling everybody, no, this is not a personal thing. I need this time by myself to do my own business. And Brian was smart enough, and, with his beautiful accent said, I'm not even going to try to mimic it because it's so pretty. I'll just butcher it. But he said, great, we'll be your largest contract. And that's how it started. That's brilliant. And great. You will be my largest contract client. Yeah. And it started that way. And then I was offered full time. And it was great. It was great. It was beautiful. I knew a lot of the client base. I helped them build their team coaching program.
Yeah.
And that was my focal point there. And I happened to be at an industry event at Inman, which for the first time in, 15 years, however long that's been going on, 12 years. I am not attending in January. I'm not going to New York in January, which is a little bit of a favored break. I'm going to say well-earned and deserved, and need a little bit of that time out. But these conferences are great places to get to know each other, connect with people who are in parts of the industry that you may not even realize.
Yes.
And
it's a different pinnacle that gets tied up there with loneliness. Yeah.
Absolutely. And one of the companies I didn't realize was tied in was a company that I was a huge fan of, which was Success Magazine. Yeah. And big time follower, did a lot with success at RE/MAX actually. But it was acquired in late 2020 by eXp Realty. Okay. And I was offered the position of CEO of Success, and was there for 2.5 years and loved it. And got to work with some of my favorite mentors, people, authors, and people that I have followed, and podcasters that are over the top impressive, and be able to say, you've single-handedly changed my life, right? This is the impact you've had on my life, and being able to take that content forward. Personal growth and development, I think you could loop up and just call growth, right? Just growth, whether it's personal or professional, however you want to develop that. Mm-hmm. It's focused on growth. So it was a wonderful time, beautiful team, gorgeous team, super impressed with them and their expertise, but went in and on the front end, it was not in its perfect state, and rebuilt that culture. And to your point, with personality profiles and leveraging their strengths, and a little bit of a change of job descriptions, roles, responsibilities, putting people on the right seats on the bus. And then we were driven. So
then that time had a season.
It did. Yeah.
And so now you're in sabbatical mode, which is why you have time to come on my podcast, which is very grateful. Thank you. And so, I think, it's interesting. What do you think is next? I mean, you're going to keep your moment of clarity, right?
Yes. Keeping moment of clarity. I will say, I had a business coach who said, Amy, can you, go 60 days, without working on anything, without trying to put something together, without creating a company, without interviewing or accepting positions. All of us
will suck you in too. We're like, come and do this thing. You should do this. You should do that. You're like, I have a lot of suggestions right now.
Yeah, I do. And what was funny is I was real irritated by it. you know my personality profile. I'm like, no, 60 days? What are you talking about? I can't go, 3 days. It's going to give me anxiety. I can't, this is not my comfort zone. I need to be working. I need to be driving. I need to be building and creating. And he said, it was basically, I'll triple dog dare you. You can't do it for 60 days.
Right. Yeah.
And it is the most beautiful challenge I've ever been given.
Yeah.
I haven't had this much time off, or when I say to myself, in reflection and personal growth and time with my family and kids in a season that is so critical.
Yeah.
I know that if I had not taken the triple dog dare, there are a lot of things I would be missing right now, and things that in a season need my attention that I just feel so blessed that I've been able to take that time. It's the first time I've had this kind of time off since I was like 12 years old in my first job.
Yeah.
It challenges the way my brain works. It challenges how I respond to things. It challenges how I look at things. It challenges how I deal with fear and love and all the big deep stuff.
This is the real clarity. This is the real clarity.
Absolutely.
I had a therapist once talk to me about what she called the hedonic line. And she said it was this place where the striver lives, just pushing against every boundary.
All the time.
No white space on the calendar, doing the next thing, ideating, growing, learning, producing, driving. There's a masculinity in that too. And she said if you could take those 60 days, that it actually lowers the spin to keep up here, this buzzing that happens up at the hedonic line, that if you can drop that, you can really drop into some form of clarity. For everybody, it's different, and then you don't have to, you only have to produce to this line.
Yes.
You don't have to produce to this line anymore.
Yes.
And what does that feel like?
I was going to say, I still struggle. I would say, and my coaches would probably tell you, that I am a very, very strong, as I imagine you to be, male energy.
Right. Your masculine energy is off the chart.
Right. So tapping into a feminine energy is not my strong suit.
Yep.
It is not been comfortable. There's all kinds of, deep, dark, what happened to you when you were 3 years old that made you this person kind of, reference, I think, if you were to go back in time. But it has been this, never let them see you sweat. You got it handled. You've got all the answers. You keep driving. You go to the next. The idea of pulling back on that and allowing the more feminine energy to be, to rest, to be quiet, to heal is really complicated.
Yes, it is.
So you ask me how that's been going. I'm not going to lie to you. It's a daily. It's a daily where I can wake up in the morning and be in that calm space, or I can wake up in the morning and be in that anxiety space and the drive and what am I going to do and put together the to-do list and prove it to myself kind of thing, where I have to sit and have conversations with I talk to myself a lot these days.
Yeah. Well, you've been rewarded in your career for showing up with the masculine energy.
Yes.
And so the dopamine hits that come along with that reward are insane.
Addictive as hell.
Where nobody ever patted you on the head and said you're a good mom.
Right.
And walked away. You were like, that didn't do anything for my dopamine. Right. Nobody said that.
I don't even know how to do that.
I just love so that's what the struggle is for women, is that the nature, the nurture, the be is a quiet, and the masculine is a loud.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I think I feel that. I mean, I can feel that in my body, which is also interesting because the more women listen to their bodies, the intuition is there.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just it comes up in all sorts of places in your body where you're like, I hear that. I'm hearing it. I'm seeing it. So I'm going to have
also uncomfortable.
Yeah. I'm going to have some fun with this coming year.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this whole masculine, feminine thing and really start paying attention to that.
Yes.
I think there's a lot for people to learn on that.
I mean, you call my kids today, they will tell you, I just learned how to hug properly in the last couple of months.
Yes.
That they think for most of my life, I've been an awkward hugger.
You're the one who pushes away while you're patting somebody on the back. You push them away.
I'm a pat. I didn't realize that my whole life. I was a awkward hug, to pat. And so my kids in the last go, don't pat pat me. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm working on it. I'm getting there.
30 seconds. You have to hold your girls for 30 seconds.
I know, and I love it. And just,
and you say,
hug that head.
Don't walk away from me, I say to them, and you will stay here for 30 seconds.
Let's be uncomfortable together. It's going to be beautiful.
I think it's great. I'm looking forward to the future. Congratulations on all your success. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. This was brilliant.
Yeah, my pleasure.